Subscribe our channel. Stay till the end of the stories for more twist and turn. Comment us about what kind of stories you like to hear. My 39 male, wife 38 female, of 10 years wants an open marriage, after I advised her to use Tinder as a confidence boost. My wife and I have always been on the bigger side. After our second child, now 4 years old, I made a lot of lifestyle changes. I started going to the gym, doing powerlifting and running a lot. I tried to encourage my wife to participate, and in the beginning, she was really enjoying going to the gym, but eventually she relapsed into bad habits. I'm not one to push too much, and I always ensured her I would love her no matter what size she was. We were still having sex about 3-4 times a week, in which we both always enjoyed and pushed each other to try new things. Recently my wife noticed that a woman from my gym had commented on one of my gym videos on Instagram. It was a video of me beating my personal record in a deadlift, with about 10 people from the gym cheering me on, including the woman who commented. The comment was along the lines of "fantastic result. On to the next." I can understand my wife's insecurity, but I reassured her there is literally nothing there. This is someone I occasionally chat to during exercises, and one of the guys helping me in the video is her husband. Anyway, basically it came down to her feeling I was getting far more attractive than her, and she was afraid I would leave her for some young and beautiful girl at the gym. We got into a friendly discussion. I proclaimed that if we were to both make a Tinder account now, she would probably still end up getting far more matches than me. Knowing that there are infinite amounts of horny guys, I was fairly sure of my hypothesis. I've never been on a dating app myself, but I assumed as a decent-looking 39-year-old that is in shape I would get some matches. We both installed Tinder and bought the Tinder Gold option so we could swipe in another city, both terrified of neighbors seeing us or something. We decided to put our locations in London and then started watching a movie. The mood during all this was giggly and fun. After the movie, 2 hours, we both checked our phones again. My wife had 330 likes, you can see who has swiped you with Tinder Gold, and I had 1. Her phone was blowing up. The first guy to start talking to her looked like a cross between Gurlzz and The Rock, who was also a dentist, was sure to show this in his pics, and was very down for meeting my wife tonight. I could tell right there and then from my wife's reaction that all of this attention was turning her on. We sat together on her phone for about half an hour just watching these messages pour in. So many compliments from 6 feet 2 inches male model types, guys wanting to meet up, guys sending their number. Every kind of race and type of guy was there to choose from at her fingertips. When she asked about my matches and saw I only had 1, she let out an "All, at least I still want you, honey." Call me crazy, but this is the moment I saw in her eyes that everything was different. It was like suddenly she was realizing she could do better than me and fuck an unlimited amount of hot guys. We deleted our accounts that night and didn't really talk about it much more. I for one was scared to bring it up and felt humiliated that I had only gotten 1 match. To make it worse, she looked far worse than me wife. My wife even made fun of my match. Over the course of the next weeks, my wife started to reject my sex more and more. 2 months later we hadn't had sex in a month. She was cold, bitter, started to have mood swings. This is when I let my bad side get the better of me. One day when she was visiting her mom, I grabbed her work laptop that she always stores in her office drawer and decided to see what I could find. I found out that she was using Tinder on her work laptop browser and had been talking to guys from all over the world the past weeks. Dubai, New York, California, you name it, she had swiped there. The conversations mentioned her being single, and everyone was sexually explicit in nature. All the guys she was talking to were 10 years younger than us too. Then I decided to try WhatsApp. To see if she would have left that logged in. I felt sick to my stomach reading her WhatsApp messages, but I had to know. I discovered that her 2 best friends, who have recently become single also and have been dating a lot on Tinder, have been pushing her to realize what you can get and have been trying to get her to leave me or force me into having an open marriage. She often sends them screenshots of the guys she is matching with and is openly contemplating cheating on me. I have been spying on her work laptop whenever she is out now for about 3 weeks, she still doesn't know. Yesterday she very lightly brought up the open marriage to me, but framing it in a way that made it seem like I could do whatever I wanted and that she knew I'd want to fool around. She claims to not be using Tinder anymore since our experiment. I'm just absolutely devastated. A few months ago and we were great, and now it feels like my life is falling apart. It seems so animalistic what is happening. I don't want to believe my wife is this shallow, but it seems like she thinks she can do better than me and just wants to fuck hot guys. From what I can tell she hasn't yet, but she has added a few guys from Tinder to her WhatsApp and been flirting with the idea of meeting them. In no way, shape or form will I ever accept an open marriage. I have of course made screenshots of everything and even recording of the conversations on her laptop screen. For me, it feels like my marriage is already over. It's like I have been given a window into a part of my wife's mind that I wish didn't exist. I felt bad sometimes for looking at a girl's ass in the gym for more than 5 seconds and could lose sleep over how I might be betraying my wife by having indecent thoughts, etc. Anyone else gone through something like this? How do I even confront her? Absolutely, yes. Sometimes people behave this way because they are riding the dopamine high and the chemicals skew reality. She'll find out really quickly that most of these apps are quantity over quality, and her stomach will turn at her perceived options when she steps out of the security of her marriage. I would first speak to an attorney to have a plan in place in the event this goes south. I would then make an appointment with a couples counselor and ask her to come along. That is supposed to be a safe space for you to talk and work through problems. If she balks when he brings up therapy, then I'd call her out on her behavior and calmly explain he wants to save the marriage, if that's what he wants to do. Giving her a chance to come back down to earth and reality while salvaging the marriage and protecting the children, would always be my first suggestion. She may not have taken the physical steps with any of these men, but emotionally, there is something else going on that needs to be addressed. Not to sound trite, as this is a big deal, but there are far more clear-cut reasons for divorce, and it doesn't sound like she's gone past talking. It's still salvageable if she understands what the consequences will look like. Oh, if everything sounds really painful. I'm a fat woman in a loving relationship, so I thought I would comment. But holy shit, your wife is fucked up, my dude. I am so sorry to hear what you are going through. I can almost understand her mentality and how fucked up, destructive and dumb and self-centered it is. The disturbing part is you have 2 children. A loveless and respectless marriage is not one to raise children in, speaking from experience. I would rather have had my parents separated than together, all day every day. You should consider leaving. I can't see anything to forgive here. Was your wife with you because she couldn't get anyone else all along? What sort of fucked up mentality is this? Just say I looked through your shit. Because you did. Show the honesty she didn't. It doesn't matter if that's wrong or not now. Does it matter what she thinks anymore? I don't know. Just because she hasn't had sex with someone doesn't mean she hasn't cheated on you. I think that's a really important distinction. So disrespectful to still lie about it when asked, so disrespectful to allow her friends to talk about you like that. I just can't believe she didn't care that she has 2 children with you. I don't know, I have taken it too personally at this point. I'm sorry if it bothered you. Just leave. You have the proof. Divorce her. This is a mentality. This mentality will hurt you all your life if you stay. I second that. I wish my mother had divorced my father way before she did. In her mind, because they had 2 kids together, me and my sister, she should wait until we were almost 18. My parents' relationship was the opposite. My father was really hot when he was young, but my mother was average. I think she is way more beautiful than my father for whom she is. Through the whole relationship, I knew my father felt like he settled for something less, as he would jokingly comment in front of me with his friends that my mom didn't have much ass or she was lucky to have kids with someone so white. My mom eventually divorced him when I was 15, he had been a chronic cheater and the last woman he slept with was an old friend of my mom. My mom is super happy now, looks younger, got into dieting, spends more time with me and my sister watching movies. Even if she wasn't a bad mom intentionally, I feel like I got a much better version now that she wasn't hurting. The biggest satisfaction my mom got was that she was the one to ask for the divorce. My father was so full of it that 8 years later he still complains about how she could be the one to leave him and that she would never do better. He is bitter that my mom is so happy without him. He constantly asks if she is miserable or sad. So go get that feeling of empowerment and burst her bubble. Edit, I miscounted the years and correct it. You found out something very unfortunate about your wife. She values her ego far more than your marriage. I am sure this hurts to hear, but remember, real life is not really comparable to life online. Flirting online is not really comparable to having a real relationship. You need a come to Jesus moment where you tell your wife that at 39, this is not the future you envisioned, and if she is not prepared to put 100% into your relationship, then it's better to end it now. Note, half of your post seems to be taking some responsibility here. This is all on her, not you. The marriage is already over. She lied. She's cheating. She doesn't respect you. It sounds like she doesn't even love you and you are just what she settled for. It sucks that you have kids that are being dragged into this. But it's gonna be worse if they grow up watching their parents be in an unhappy relationship, with their mom cheating with everything that moves and their dad absolutely miserable. Get screenshots and get a lawyer. Thanks for listening so far. If story have update we will post here. Like and subscribe to our channel for upcoming stories.